Hi there YouTube, Gunnerpad here. It's been a while since I've recorded anything. You can thank Windows 10 for that. I've had some problems with my audio drivers. My motherboard's built-in audio is unsupported in Windows at present, and I'm currently running two 660 Ti's in SLI. It seems SLI is also pretty poorly supported in the new Windows, sadly. I would have rolled back to 8.1 so I could do some recording, but I rather stupidly deleted the old OS files to make some space on my SSD. If you're having the same problems, don't fret, there are ways to get it to work. Send me a message or leave a comment and I'll try to point you in the direction of a few useful forum posts, and driver links as well, as I've had a look into it quite a fair bit recently. Today I thought I'd do something outside the norm. That's right, I'm not playing DayZ, and I'm not playing Battlefield whilst talking about another unrelated game. I thought I'd actually play a game relevant to the game I'm reviewing. If you hadn't guessed already, I thought I'd take a look at the upcoming Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Firstly, as you can tell, this isn't the Phantom Pain. It's what's been revealed to be its prologue, called Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Initially, both games were advertised separately. Most people were unsure as to whether Metal Gear 5 would be called Ground Zeroes or The Phantom Pain, or in fact, who was making the game. This was helped out by the developers releasing teaser footage of The Phantom Pain under the name of a fake studio, which I think was Moby Dick Productions. Initially though, before we jump into it, I wanted to give a bit of background on this series. I've been playing the Metal Gear Solid games since the late 1990s. It all started when my older brother had a PS1 and I used to watch him play Metal Gear. That's until I got my own PS1, I mean. I've since played every game to date, including the original Metal Gear X, on the MSX, and Metal Gear 2 Snake's Revenge on the NES. Although the series started in the 1980s with Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, for me the series' main story arc started, as is I think the same for most people, in 1998 with the release of Metal Gear Solid. It's deemed one of the best stealth and espionage games of all time, and rightly so. Metal Gear Solid was then followed by Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty and Metal Gear 3 Snake Eater on the PS2, Snake Eater being a prequel. Then there was Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, which was a sequel to Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. A friend of mine actually went out and bought a PS3 just so that we could play Guns of the Patriots. And finally there was Peace Walker on the PSP, which was later ported to the 360, and it's the only game I haven't bothered to complete really, mainly due to the pretty shoddy port and poor gameplay. And of course now there's Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain. For those of you who weren't aware of any of the previous games until a few seconds ago, and if you're sat there thinking that's me, then I've no idea how you ended up watching this, but you should probably go away and not come back until you've played at least an hour or two of any of the previous games in this series. You can thank me for that later. Where was I? For those who aren't aware of these games, they've always followed, either loosely or directly, the stories of Big Boss, Solid Snake, and Liquid Snake. They all follow a surprisingly similar format as well. There may be spoilers ahead here, so spoiler alert. The player controls a character called either Big Boss, under a snake-orientated codename, such as Naked Snake or Venom Snake, I'm a Snake, he's a Snake, Sneaky Snake, you get the idea. Or you play as his son, Solid Snake, or there was that one time there was a blonde kid who kind of stumbled into the protagonist slot called Raiden, and he was also briefly called Snake as well. Snake is then tasked with hunting down the nuclear-armed bipedal multi-purpose variants of Metal Gear. There's Rex, Ray, the Shagohod, and Arsenal Gear. Metal Gear normally has been hijacked by some form of terrorist cell. Usually that cell is run by someone directly related to Snake, normally his father or his brother or his other brother / clone, or his a previous mentor in one of them. This terrorist cell compromises of approximately 4 masters of their field, whom are then battled throughout the game in your standard boss battle format. Followed, of course, by your climactic final boss battle with the enemy leader, sometimes 2 of them as well, if you're lucky. And, of course, it wouldn't be a Metal Gear game if you didn't fight a 100-ton walking, nuclear missile-bearing, laser-firing tank whilst armed with a pistol, a couple of RPGs, and a cardboard box. The terrorist cell members usually follow the same format as well. It's a repeating theme. There's the ninja-esque one, usually able to become disguised with stealth or move so fast they're hardly visible, and they've normally got a knife or a sword or something along those lines, and able to deflect bullets, it seems. There's the deranged explosive expert. There's the sniper or high-powered rifle person. And the 4th is usually someone with paranormal abilities. Oh, and of course you can't forget there's the main boss or leader, who's an alternate version of Snake with the same training and fighting styles and blah blah blah. They match each other in every way. To progress through these games, you're supposed to follow a fairly linear, albeit kind of back and forth path, collecting different card keys and items to progress to the next part of the mission, whilst gradually upgrading equipment and conveniently finding the weapons needed just before the relevant boss fights. A sniper for a sniper, and of course you need mine and explosive detectors before you fight the bomber, so on and so forth. To be honest, this is probably the part where the games start to differ. The newer ones from Metal Gear Solid 5 really start to change up the way you play Metal Gear. As you can see here in Ground Zeroes, I can go pretty much anywhere on the map in any order, at any time. I can run over to one of the armories and grab a sniper, or I can go hide on a hill, pick people off, or I can run to an outbuilding and grab a rocket launcher and blow up everything in sight if I want to. The new games, both Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain, are sandbox games. Of course, Ground Zeroes isn't as open as the Phantom Pain will be, mainly due to its limited map size. But in Ground Zeroes there are several missions, but sadly you do have to load them from the main menu. It's, again, not really a massive deal, but you play in the same map over and over again, rather than moving to different areas, as according to statements from Konami as well, you can choose what order to complete the missions completely. So, although I'm expecting it'll probably be limited or affected by the main story arc, my understanding of it is completely select like a mission group and then follow that path, and then come back out, select another mission group, and then follow that path for a while. It seems very open, in a similar way to maybe Assassin's Creed, that kind of really open mission selection process. Ground Zeroes is a really stripped-down version of the Phantom Pain. It avoids all the lengthy cutscenes and dramatic boss fights and the usual complicated and tangled plot strands that you'll get in a Metal Gear game. So it doesn't distract from the sort of demonstration of the detailed gameplay and intelligent and tactical gameplay. Its central campaign is pretty short, but not bad. It definitely left me wanting more, but it's what you'd expect from a prologue. The extra missions do also make it pretty replayable. Gameplay-wise, the game has changed massively. Although it is still a stealth game, obviously, you can approach every objective from pretty much any angle you like, unlike in previous games where you could follow a walkthrough word for word, and that's just the only way to complete it. There's no alternation, you can't have your own variable versions. Snake in this, or Boss, or whatever he's going to be called by the end of it, I think it's called Venom Snake, he's incredibly agile in comparison to how he was before. He's able to roll, jump, climb and shoot. It's on par with most third-person action adventures these days. Enemies are pretty damn smart, and there's a lot of them, as shown in Ground Zeroes. In the brightest parts of the day, and played on hard mode, the enemy, especially in open areas, possess realistic 20/20 vision, and they react to every little movement, a shifting shadow or a flicker of light, anything at all. You leave your torch on your gun during the day, you're screwed. And they also make life a lot harder by becoming more and more vague and pretty vigilant in their patrolling. It also seems that every time you restart, they learn from your previous attempts. So if you repeatedly use headshots, they'll start wearing helmets. If you are going in guns blazing, they'll come back heavily armoured with tanks and everything else. So it changes every single time. You'll never have the same playthrough twice. But in Ground Zeroes you have basic equipment to assist you. A pair of binoculars, allowing you to tag enemies in a similar way to Far Cry. You've got the iDroid, which combines your map and your mission information, so every time you get an update it appears on the map. The binoculars in particular are invaluable when it comes to avoiding unexpected confrontations. Without them you'd be absolutely screwed, you'd be bumping right into someone on every single corner. But I mean, largely with this game, it's completely up to you how you use and optimise the terrain, and whether you even use the binoculars. You can probably try and play it without, and see how you get on. From the gameplay footage here, the equipment has certainly picked up in the Phantom Pain. As in Peace Walker, the Phantom Pain will offer a base building feature. There's a really good gameplay release that came out from Konami fairly recently of Mother Base. It's going to be a massive part of the game. I mean, I expected it to be more of just kind of like a side mission, or kind of where you do your upgrades and that kind of stuff, but you can invade other people's mother bases. You can, it's huge as well. I mean, it's bigger than the entire plant from Metal Gear Solid 2. But it allows you obviously to develop weapons and items from your home base. You can recruit enemy soldiers and prisoners who are also which also allows the base to grow through kind of organisation and stuff like that. The option is available to use a companion app alongside the game as well, so you can use your smartphone or tablet to have the map and iDroid features there. But unlike in Peace Walker, where players can only see the mother base from the air, you can control Snake as he explores the complex on foot. You can defend from invaders. The guards that you recruit defend from those invaders. Also, you recruit these guys by basically kidnapping them using the Fulton Recovery Service, which comes back from Peace Walker, as shown here on this poor horse. It's a surface-to-air recovery system which returns, well, players, vehicles, anything you like, wild animals. You can have a zoo if you want one. But it basically takes everything, you know, your vehicles and stuff, back to Mother Base, and you can get money for upgrading Mother Base's defences and technology, which can be collected from objects found all over the map, such as diamonds, shipping containers, and special blueprint boxes, which give you information on how to upgrade something. And the income will be invested on upgrades to the appearance, abilities, weapons, and equipment of Snake, as well as his AI companions, which is also a new feature. If you want to, you can play the entire game with all guns blazing. Ground Zeroes is more than accepting to an aggressive playstyle. You can go charging in, health regenerates, and there's a reflex mode which slows down time when you're spotted, so you can go in and wipe out the whole camp. Not easily, but it is doable. And the reflex mode is brilliant. It gives you just enough time to squeeze off a couple of headshots if you get spotted and you're trying to play stealthily. Stealth is obviously the massive main theme of Metal Gear, always has been, so of course your score will be ravaged by an aggressive playstyle. I'd avoid it if you can. It's fun occasionally, but I wouldn't use it if you're trying to get a good score. As per the Metal Gear norm, Ground Zeroes, and I expect the Phantom Pain ranks you after each mission, marking you down for every kill, restart and alert, and I think the use of the reflex mode as well, but it can be disabled in the mission options, which is quite helpful. Unlike previous installments in the Phantom Pain, the player now has the option to travel across the map with the aid of vehicles, including jeeps, trucks, tanks, helicopters. You've got D-Walker, which I might have a bit of footage here somewhere, I'm not sure. You can also climb cliff faces, the outside of buildings, up drain pipes, and it just takes again away from that linear playstyle. But by far and away the most intriguing and game-changing feature, as I mentioned before, is the assistive AI characters, your companions. You can have an army of other team players that you can play as, but also you can have some of these guys come out and assist you in the field. So you've got the main one being Quiet. Well, from what I can tell, Quiet seems to be the most focused on one. She's a female sniper with supernatural abilities, basically. She's able to run at super fast speeds. She's an incredible marksman. You can send her ahead of you to scout an area, but she won't get spotted either. She's camouflage, I think. I'm not really sure. I think she has stealth camo. So you can send her in front of you to scout an area out. She'll use her sniping skills to take out enemies that you point out to her. She can even deflect bullets and items into the path of enemies and other targets. There's also D-Horse, who we saw earlier, a horse with a customizable saddle for carrying more equipment in the field. There's D-Walker, a manned mobile weapons platform that can provide heavy weapon support. It's basically got a Gatling gun, and it's kind of like a miniature Metal Gear. And then there's DD, a trained wolf, which you acquire in Africa, as a pup, and then train it up on the new mother base. The game also features a new day and night cycle, which is new from Ground Zeroes. It would have been cool to have it in Ground Zeroes, I think, but I understand why they didn't do it. You've got the day and night, so you don't need to have that feature. It runs in real time. In a similar fashion to Skyrim, the game can be fast-forwarded to a desired time using a phantom cigar, which Snake basically stands there and smokes the time away. But this allows you to scout enemy patrols and guard shift rotations. But it also, the weather is highly kind of effective on the environment. You can get sandstorms, and if you don't want to be around in a sandstorm, you stand there, smoke your cigar, and the weather's cleared up. It's also important when planning a mission approach, as the time taken to travel from one location to another does affect the time of day, so when the player arrives at their destination, you don't really want to be stuck in the middle of a busy encampment with regular patrols under a noon sun, when you could be sneaking through under the cover of darkness and all the guards are asleep. Again, that might not quite work out that way, but that's their logic. I think the best way to get your teeth into the feel of the Phantom Pain, honestly, is just grab a copy of Ground Zeroes. It's well worth 20 quid, play the hell out of it. It's not just the main missions, but the side missions as well, so you can get used to the day and night differences. You could also check out some of the full gameplay releases, and sections of which I've used in this video, but there's so many out there now. There's hours and hours and hours of footage, and they're really interesting. It does demonstrate everything that you could hope for without giving too much away. Of course, when the game comes out, which is September the 1st for consoles and a couple of weeks later for the PC, I will try my hand at a more detailed gameplay video. I will wait for the PC version, as I don't have the next gen consoles. I don't intend to get them, but I'm not going to get it on the previous generation because it's not going to be as good. Let's be realistic. In the meantime, though, coming soon to the channel, there will be another loosely related to the new Metal Gear game, a video on Battlefield where I've been trying to complete the Phantom Program. Phantom Pain, Phantom Program, I thought they were similar. That'll be ready, well, as soon as I've completed it. It's not exactly simple, as you'll hopefully see soon, and I suppose I may make another DayZ video. I'm yet to try any DayZ in Windows 10, so we'll have to hope for the best on that one. If you have any comments, feedback, know something I don't about the upcoming Metal Gear game, or have any suggestions of games for me to take a look at, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked the video, or a dislike if you didn't, and don't forget to check out the channel and subscribe if you like what you see. But for now, I'll see you next time.
Standing on the edge of the crater, like the prophets once said, and the ashes are all cold now, no more bullets, and the embers are dead. Whispers in the air tell the tales of the brothers gone. Desolation, devastation, what a mess we made when it all went wrong. Watching from the edge of the circus for the games to begin. Gladiators draw